All right, so the moment that we have all been waiting for, she did it. This presentation, like I said, will highlight some African American women and their inventions. These women are not going to be the common women that we think about when we think about Black history. So, no Madam C.J. Walker. We won't be discussing Rosa Parks, Michelle Obama. We're really going to dig into some of the inventions that we really don't think too much of, but we utilize in our daily lives. So the presentation is going to be broken down into two parts. The first half is going to be, she did that. And that's going to be discussing the inventions by these African American women. And the second part of our presentation is going to be becoming the next she. Myself and Ms. Pei are going to give you all some resources for self-improvement, and that will be towards the end of the presentation. All right, so she did that. Our inventions are going to be broken down into 4 categories. We'll discuss hair, hygiene, technology, and household items. So getting started, we are going to discuss hair because hair is very important in our culture, no matter what you do with your hair, how you do it. We got to get to the bottom of how we could even maintain our hair. And so those are things that we don't really think about. We have all these neat things out now, but back in the day, they kind of weren't there. And if they were there, they were not suited to our hair. So the first woman that I'd like to introduce you all to is Lyda Newman. She actually created the brush that we know now, well, the model of the brush that we know now to be used. She was born in Ohio between 1965 and 1985. She was regularly involved with the women's voting rights movement, and she was a hairdresser in New York. So hence her getting into doing the hairbrush. So prior to her reinventing the hairbrushes were around, but they weren't really hygienic and they weren't really efficient when being used on African American women's hair. So earlier models of the hairbrush actually utilized animal hair. And so animal hair is very soft. As you know, hair is lots of different textures, and most women have thick hair. So horsehair, rabbit hair is not something that's going to be able to do too much, at least for my head. I need a little bit something stronger. So she came and created a thicker bristle brush that was not only more hygienic, but a lot more efficient for our type of hair. The next woman is Theora Stephens. She patented the curling iron in 1980. Not too much is known about Miss Stephens. However, this is something that we use now. And when you go get your hair done, these are things that you see. Her model or patent, the style hasn't really changed. Brushes are kind of evolving. We got the curly hair brushes, the ones that come apart, the little detangling brushes. But Miss Stephens' invention is kind of stuck its course and remained the same when it comes to model. Next, we have hygiene, and we know hygiene is very important. So we're going to discuss one woman who actually had 2 inventions that we are thankful for today. And that's going to be Miss Mary Beatrice Kenner. Now, Miss Kenner comes from a long lineage of inventors. Her father is credited for creating the stretcher with wheels. So if you've ever seen someone be put into an ambulance, that stretcher rolls it right into the ambulance so they can close the door. Her father actually invented that. Her sister Mildred is responsible for tons of board games. They were older games, but I thought that was pretty neat. We'll also talk about Mildred once we get down to the toilet paper holder, because her and Mary actually patented that together. But Mary herself patented the sanitary belt. So prior to menstrual pads and tampons, back in the day, women were wearing sanitary belts. So what they would do is put this, and I have an image here, they would put it on, and that would be kind of like a divider between them and their undergarment. Well, Miss Kenner took it a step further because the first set of sanitary belts did not have moisture collection pads. So there was a lot of leakage women were experiencing and excessive moisture captured when they were menstruating. And I couldn't even imagine. But Miss Kenner came through and she recreated her sanitary belt. So she created it in 1920. But due to financial struggle, she was unable to actually get it patented. But in 1957, she was. It was a hit, so much so that a few companies approached her about marketing her product. However, when they determined that she was an African American woman, then decided that they would not want to work with her. So the next thing we'll talk about that she is responsible for with the help of her sister Mildred is going to be the toilet paper holder. So I don't know about you all, but in my house and even my family, the toilet paper roll in the direction that it is rolling is very much important. So I want everyone to take a minute and go into the chat box. Let me know the proper way in your household that toilet paper should be hanging. Should the back of the paper be in the front? Well, should the extra paper that you're going to be pulling be in the front of the roll, or should it be on the back of the roll? Let me know. Enter the answer of how it goes in your household in the chat for me.
Tiffany said 100% in the front. Faye said in the back.
Uh-oh.
Haley said the paper be in the back.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with Tiffany. For me, it's in the front. Shane said in the back. Bree said in the front.
So in my family, I don't know who my cousins are because I can't see the chat and my memory ain't that good. My cousins that would be on this presentation would say that the toilet paper roll, the paper should be on the front. I used to get in so much trouble for having that paper touch the back wall or whatever was behind the paper, the toilet paper holder. So, you know, y'all, I don't know who cousins out there who's allowed to have it in the back, but I would have come to y'all house. I probably would have gotten a lot less trouble if I would have been at y'all house because my family does not play the back. They only play the front.
Haley said in the front, it's easier to unroll, not on purpose.
I can see that. But see, I'm gonna have to spend the night at Haley's house because in my house, I was getting in trouble for that. I need to live that lifestyle and see which way is easier. So we're gonna kind of take a break from learning and play a game. And we are going to play Unscramble. So I have some inventions here by famous Black inventors. These are not all by women. Wanted to kind of take a break from that and just think about other things in Black history that have been invented. So I'm going to give you all until 6:57 to unscramble as many words as you can. Enter every word that you're able to unscramble in the chat box.
All righty, we have one word. Okay, we have two. We have dustpan for number 3, peanut butter for number 1, traffic signal for number 2. Oh, wait, hold on. My screen is jumping. All right, number 3, dustpan. Number 1, peanut butter. Number 2, traffic signal. 1, peanut butter. 5 is gas mask. 7 is ice cream. Okay, no one got 10 or 9. Hey, man, we are unscrambling some of the inventions. Okay, potato chip. Tiffany got number 9. Okay, pencil sharpener. I think, okay, what about number 4? Has anyone been able to get number 4? fire extinguishers, number 8. Number 6, did we get number 6? What's number 6? 6 is long and a little, I don't want to say intimidating, I don't know. Alrighty, I think we use as much brain power as we could. We don't have the answer for 4 or 6 yet.
All right, so we've got our answers here on the next slide. Number 1 was peanut butter. Number 2 was traffic signal. So I have an asterisk here because, like I said, Mary Beatrice Kenner came from a long lineage of inventors. Her grandfather actually created the first model of the traffic signal that we know today. However, he, like his granddaughter, did not have enough money to patent it. And so another person actually took credit for his invention. Number 3 was dustpan. Number 4 was elevator. Number 5 was gas mask. Number 6 was lawnmower. 7, ice cream. 8, fire extinguisher. Number 9 was potato chip. I'm so thankful that those came into this world. And number 10 was pencil sharpener. So thank you all for participating. So we're going to jump back into the presentation and learn about some technology. So this is Valerie Thomas. She was born February 8th, 1943, and she was a NASA scientist. So she did some time in school. However, she did not complete her degree. She went to Morgan State. She got a job at NASA fresh out of high school. So that played a large role in why she did not complete school, because she kind of had a dream job, especially for someone that's interested in the STEM world. So what motivated her into getting into STEM, which is science, technology, my E. Somebody tell me the E, and mathematics.
I think it's engineering.
Engineering.
It's engineering. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Engineering and mathematics. So what got her interested is there was a book called The Boy's First Book in Electronics. So she found this book, she read it, and she was just so amazed in what was in it. And so she took an interest to it and decided to share it with her dad. So her dad read the book with her, and he was like, hey, I can do some of this stuff. I can build some of this stuff in this book. However, he never taught her how to do it. And so that old memory kind of sat with her. And so she drew interest in, one day being able to build some of those things in that book. However, Miss Thomas is credited for 3D movies. And how she did this is through the illusion transmitter device. So I'm going to take a second to play you all some information about that device. And bear with me as I drag my bar out of the way for Zoom. All right, this is about a 1.5-minute video, a little bit about the illusion transmitter device and how 3D imaging came to be, the 3D movies that we go see today at the movie theater. If you all are unable to hear, please let me know. Just take yourself off mute, but my volume is up, so I think we should be good.
Alrighty, Miss Amber, it's not playing for us.
Okay, I can hear it loud and clear, so let me see here. Are you guys able to hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Concave mirrors to fool the viewer into believing that a light bulb was still lit even after it had been removed from its socket. Thomas was fascinated by what she saw and became curious as to how light in concave mirrors could be used in her work at NASA. In 1977, Valerie Thomas began researching and experimenting with both flat mirrors and concave mirrors. Unlike flat mirrors, which provides a reflection of an object that appears to be inside or behind the glass surface, concave mirrors create reflections that appear to be real or in front of the mirror itself, providing the illusion that they exist in a three-dimensional manner. On October 21st, 1980, she obtained the patent for the illusion transmitter, which is a device that is used to send messages from space to Earth. The device produces optical illusion images by way of concave mirrors. Valerie retired from NASA in 1995. However, NASA continues to use.
All righty. So 3D movies are actually the reflection of two mirrors. One that is showing something coming off of the film, and the other is actually reflecting the backside of what is on that first mirror for you to see and projects on the screen. And so that is what Miss Thomas is credited for. Next, we have Lisa Golopter. Born in 1971, she is a computer scientist, technologist, and chief executive. So some of her very prominent positions that she's held is the chief digital officer of BET. She served when Barack Obama was president. He created the U.S. Digital Service Department. She was a member of that department. During her time serving under the Obama administration, she actually is responsible for redesigning the Healthcare Gov website. And so that website, if you are applying for any type of government health benefits, you actually utilize that website. She helped recreate it to make it more user-friendly while she was working with the Obama administration. However, today we're discussing her not about that, but because she has created the GIFs, animated GIFs, and we see GIFs all the time. I myself love a good GIF. Does anyone know what GIF stands for? Some people pronounce it GIF. Does anyone know what that stands for? If you do, please put it in the chat box. I'll give us a minute.
We don't have anything in the chat just yet.
All righty, so a GIF, or GIF as some people call it, is a graphic interchange format. So similar to when you save stuff as PDF or JPEG, all those different type of formats, that is what a GIF is. However, Ms. Golopter took it a step further by adding in animation. So now that picture is actually moving. So GIFs are like little short movements or snippets of shows or movies or whatever it may be. That is what she actually contributed to technology. Well, one of her many contributions to technology that we actually utilize today. But as a chief executive, she actually founded her own company in 2016, and the company is called the TED Equitable. That platform I'm actually going to share with you all. It is a website for dealing with any type of bias, harassment, or discrimination in the workplace. So I'm just going to share it with you all because I found some cool stuff, and it may not be up everyone's alley, but definitely for some of the adults or people that are working, you can definitely find a lot of cool stuff on here. And it's kind of nice to have a minority view on some of the things. So for me, the things that I found really interesting were the cultural equity and inclusion news articles that they have on the website. Just some good reading, just to see what's going on around the world and to stay up to date on these things in the workplace. There are some research studies. I'm a nerd, so I am very much into reading things and just, learning about what's going on in the world. So returning back to our presentation, we have Mary Van Brittan Brown, born in 1922. She was a nurse. She actually created the home security system that we know today in 1966. So her creation came from two things. First, as a nurse, people dealing with people who were not always able to be mobile and get help when something was going wrong. And then also living in Queens, in New York, she would experience major delays when things would happen, and she would call, the police. It took them a while to get there. So her and her husband came together to create the home security system that we know today. I know I have a Ring, some people have Blinks, but her and her husband are actually where this comes from. So this is an earlier figure / model of how these home security systems first looked. As you can see, this person is in bed and controlling their home security system right in the comfort of their home. Something that's really cool about this is this was the first concept of having a camera or a video of your front door. So when someone's knocking on your door, you can actually see, and not only see, speak to them from wherever you are in your home. There were actually multiple ports that you could use in the home. So you may have one in your room, you may have one in your kitchen, but there are multiple alarms or security systems that you could view to communicate with the person that was on the other side of your door. Giving back to nursing, which was what she did, Ms. Brittan Brown added, of course, the panic button. And for people that are immobile or needed help, that was amazing, because if I'm in bed and I can't move and I need help, I can push that button, and my neighbors, if not the whole neighborhood, are going to hear my panic button, and help will be on the way. All right, so now we're going to move on to household items. These are things around the house that you may or may not have known that a Black woman created. So here we have Sarah Boone, born in 1832. She was actually born into slavery, but married into freedom. When she married into freedom, she took on the occupation of a seamstress. So her invention is actually an ironing board. And so it's not like the ironing board that we're used to today, but as you can see, this was her model. And her purpose for inventing this as a seamstress was to improve the quality of ironing sleeves and undergarments when repairing. So I don't know if anybody irons still. I am not an ironer. I am a put a piece of ice in the dryer with my clothes person. But if you've ever ironed and you have a shirt with really long arms, sometimes it could be really time consuming trying to run the iron down there. Well, prior to Miss Boone's invention, irons were about half the size, and sleeves are a lot longer than that. So her model incorporated the entire length of a sleeve, and then also had a hook so that if you needed to iron your undergarments, you could hook them on there and run the iron over them without them falling on the floor and getting dirty before you put them on. We have Ellen Elgin, born in 1849. She is responsible for the ringing machine. As a housekeeper, this of course would have helped her in her line of duty or work. So we see here the actual clothes wringer. Back in the day, I know my grandma says this all the time, they had to wash clothes by hand. And so they would line the clothes, but I've also heard stories from my grandma where sometimes there's so much water in the clothes, it took forever to dry. Even though they were drying them outside, it just took a really long time. So Miss Elgin's invention involved 2 cranks and then 2 rollers. So what you would do is at the top here, I'm not sure if can you all see my mouse moving?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so at the top, let's say it's a shirt, you'd hang your shirt and pull the bottom down here to insert it into the ringing machine. You would take the crank then and roll it and get your shirt or your dress or whatever through, and it would wring out the water, thus making the dry time a lot more faster than previously when people were washing clothes, wringing them out as much as you can, and just hanging them. This sped up the process a lot more and was a lot more sanitary. Last but not least, we have Miss Alice H. Parker, born in 1985. So unlike our other inventors, she really had no experience. She was from a rather well-respected family. She served as a law clerk, but not really. She was blessed enough to kind of do what she wanted and had the freedom to learn during really troubling times. She is a graduate of Howard University and is noted and known for creating the central heating system. So it's cold in my house. I don't know if it's cold where you are, but I am so thankful that I have the heater. Well, what set her aside from the previous heaters that were invented was that she was utilizing natural gas for her heating system. So prior to her creation and her invention, people were getting wood or fuel, and that's how they were creating heat, by burning things in their home. Well, one, that's not really safe, and 2, that's really bad for your health, depending upon how much you burn and ingesting, gas or whatever people were burning that may not have been the best option. So using natural gas essentially was just air. So as a New Jersey resident, she experienced some really, really harsh winters, as one can imagine. So she found that when she was burning wood or, dealing with any type of heating systems in place, they weren't really warming the entire house. And so in New Jersey, it gets super, super cold. So she thought to herself, how can I spread heat throughout my house evenly? So hence her creation. You see here that there are 2 air ducts. And so these air ducts would go to your home. So I know in my home, I have these things in the ceiling that open, and they basically control the air and the airflow from my air conditioner. So using that, she created something to basically provide heat, not only directly here at the bottom in whatever room this was in, but throughout the house by utilizing those vents. So we are going to go into our second section of our presentation, and that's becoming the next she. So we just learned about all of these amazing women and their inventions. And while you may not be an inventor yourself or think you're an inventor, there are some ways that you can better improve yourself so you can invent yourself over when necessary. So She Academy does have numerous resources to help with making you that next she. All of these things are free. So we'll start with our social media. So our social media, TikTok, our account name is She Academy Inc. On our TikTok, we utilize and learn about mental health, setting healthy boundaries, and self-improvement. On Instagram, same name. We post day-to-day life tips and then positive affirmations. On our LinkedIn, which is She Academy Inc., we share tips for entering into the workforce. And then we have Ms. Quay, who has her special formula that I'll let her tell you all about.
Hi, ladies. So like we all know, in the after school program or in being my friend or just coming in contact with me, 10 times out of 10 will remind you to be consistent in whatever it is that you're doing. And so my formula is very simple. Consistency plus discipline will give you that desired lifestyle. And it's been proven to work. We started here at a dream. It was literally an idea, and I would call my friends and just talk a little too much about what my idea would be. And eventually, I started to become consistent with my planning and, the way that I would apply my thoughts and being intentional with my time and just being very, very restricted to all things She Academy. And so that discipline did not come easy. There was a lot of trial and error in the midst of it, but nonetheless, that formula has helped me get to where I am today, which is being the founder and executive director of She Academy as we are operating in our 3rd year. So really quick, I just want everyone to either put it in the chat or come off mute and just kind of let us know something that you're working on. What is that one thing that you are definitely consistent with? And then on the opposite side, let us know that one thing that you have really good discipline in. So I'll put mine in the chat. You want to do consistency, and then you want, consistent, and you want to do disciplined. So I am consistent. A lot of things. I'm not sure what I want to put in here. Alrighty, I'll give an example. So I am consistent in creating my plans, and I am disciplined in executing my plans. And I use that word very loosely. Plans go from boundaries to events to meal prep to workout, something that I don't do, but not yet. So let's hear from Tiffany. Tiffany, what's one thing that you are really consistent with?
Getting my work done.
Oh, okay. All righty. What about being disciplined? Are you disciplined in any areas of your life?
Yes.
Like what?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't think of nothing. Yeah, but I am disciplined.
Okie dokie. It's good that you know. It's good that you know. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else want to come off mute and share what they are consistent and disciplined in? It could be either or, it doesn't have to be both. Alrighty, I'm gonna give us a few seconds. I hope we're all disciplined in making sure we eat. If we hadn't eaten before, definitely eating after. Valerie said, keeping an open mind and staying positive. I think that's something we can all do. So thank you for sharing. Alrighty, and so moving on to the last resource that we want to share with you all tonight would be our website. And so if you are not familiar with, let me scoot my screen over. If you are not familiar with our website, I will share my screen and just kind of walk you through why we consider this to be one of the resources. On our website, you will notice that there's an event. Can you all see this? Can you see my screen? Okay. What you will notice, if I can move us over. Okay, what you will notice is right here in this right-hand side of the screen is the events tab. And here you will notice all of our upcoming events. This will be updated very soon. And what it'll do is remind you of, and you can put it in your calendar. Like, hey, okay, this is a new event that I think I can benefit from. I want to definitely make sure that I'm there. And you just kind of scroll down and see the events that we've done. If there's something that you're interested in, then you definitely want to reach out to us and see if there's a way that you can benefit outside of that. Next would be our blog. Our blog, some of our interns do leave us some really nice tips. Self-love, when Black Friday was a thing. This page will definitely have more things added to it very soon, but our blog is a place where you can find more tips on gratitude and just everything that we work on in our organization: self-love, boundaries, all things self-improvement. And down here, you will see the YouTube page or the YouTube icon, which will then link you to our page, and you will then be able to see a recap of the different events. Protect your peace. So if you happen to miss it in person and you wanted to be able to check it out again, such as this call, it is being recorded and it will be shared and uploaded to our YouTube page. And so this is also another resource just to kind of go back and press play on the things that you missed. I am going to go ahead and stop this recording because we have reached the end of our presentation, but I do want to thank Miss Amber before closing out this recording. Thank you so much for everything tonight. We learned some new things. I know I definitely did. We'll finish up, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. That way the video is not long.